And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's a snack pack, everyone. I was just chewing a snack. That's why I had to play the extra intros on the. It's like, they can't catch me eating. No, no. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. The latest Pop Culture Cosmos. Tomorrow will be the state of pro wrestling for May and June, where John Orlando and I cover Clash in Italy. We also talk about AEW's Double or Nothing, New Japan being sold, Americano versus Americano in the AAA, and also as well, Danhausen. Are you cursed? You will be if you don't check out the latest Pop Culture Cosmos in the state of pro wrestling, dropping tomorrow for everyone, wherever you get your podcast. And also as well, want to go ahead and mention what we did earlier this week. I have a full review of The Mandalorian and Grogu up on the site, as well as far as the podcast outlets. And of course, we talk about BTS Army invading the United States. They were all over Las Vegas this week. Trust me, I had to go ahead and deal with that as far as BTS. Plus, we also talk about 007 First Light and more as well on the channel. Yes, absolutely amazing indeed. Plus, also, I want to give a big shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, also as well, of course, Drip Show. Got my pillow here. Kobe and Gigi, always right here by my side. Got Kobe and Luca with the canvas art on that side. You got LeBron on that side right there for you. And I'm going to go ahead and post up that wonderful skate deck, Kobe skate deck. That'll be on the end right over here. All courtesy of Drip Show. And if you want something in your life like this and pop culture or sports related, go ahead and reach out to @DripShowShop wherever you get your social media. It is right there for you. He can do a lot. Go ahead and find out what he can do for you @DripShowShop wherever you get your social media. And indeed, DBSH, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. I rated it like a season. And if it was a season, I would say it's third place, third behind season 2, season 1, the movie, and then season 3. Season 3 was yuck, but I will leave it at that. But could have been better. Like, I agree with you, DBSH. Could have been better, but it's all right. You know, it's there. Again, I didn't hate it, didn't love it. 7-ish. But I go into more detail on the latest Pop Culture Cosmos that is available now, wherever you get your podcast on. I go into a great bit of detail on it with Josh Peterson right there. Are those cookies? I don't have cookies. Okay. Okay. All right. I wish I had cookies. I could use some chocolate chip cookies right now, but it is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. We are discussing the Lakers. We're also discussing the NBA playoffs, maybe the NBA draft proposal, and then also as well, if Joe, when he gets here, I'm sure the idea, you want to, how you want to anger Joe. Just tell him the Major League Baseball is considering instituting a salary cap for the first time since the strike era. Yes, go ahead and talk to him on that, and he'll be just so thrilled to go ahead and answer your question on that. And I may just do that just to see if I can get a little bit a rise out of him before we head on out. JSJ, I would say, yeah, it's the season 4 as a movie. That's what I was thinking. That's the way I played it out. That's my review on it. But I again better than season 3, but season 2 and season 1 are better. But I'll leave it at that. But again, it is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching this thing. If you're catching me every day on the Fan Arc Network on Lakers Latest, I hope you are, because I'm there for you every day. I know people say, where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? I'm here every day talking the Lakers at Lakers Latest. I'm here as much as I can with NBA observations. This week I was busy with a lot of stuff related to BTS here in Las Vegas, so I didn't have as much time to devote on the Lakers on this channel. So I know that everybody gets up in arms why you guys go dark or not as much on the summer. Well, we tried giving you guys a whole bunch of content during the summer, and we just don't see that large of an audience come up from it. But whoever's here, whoever stays here, whoever watches during the course of summer, we are truly appreciative that you do stay here with us here at the Lakers Fast Break. Yes, there was no lower building indeed, but hopefully everybody as well, as we will get into the Lakers, plus also as well the NBA playoffs. Game 6 is done. San Antonio put their firm stamp on this, and it is going to a game 7. I think that was awesome as far as going to a game 7. This series, we talked about it from December, I think, when San Antonio started beating up on OKC during that period of time, that it was heading in this direction as far as the San Antonio OKC Western Conference Finals, and we would think this is the NBA Finals de facto as far as it's concerned. And I think we're seeing that play out before our very eyes. But the problem is, can San Antonio win one more on the road? Because OKC has proven as of recent to be really good on the road outside of game 1. And Victor Wembanyama needs to show up. He cannot lay an egg like he did in game 5. He needs to go ahead and step up big time in game 7, which he can do, but we'll have to wait and see. Will SGA get all the calls? Because he got in game 5 19 free throws in game 5, and the most valuable flopper, or whatever you want to call him. I guess he's filing lawsuits against people or cease and desist for people making up board games for all the shenanigans that he does. They know, they're very well aware at OKC what they do. In fact, we saw one today where they overturned a call where I think Stefan Castle, breathed on him, or was it Dylan Harper? One of those guys breathed on Chet Holmgren and he went down, and they overturned it, and they gave it to OKC. So yeah, it's just really disappointing as far as it's concerned. In the snack pack bag, we will be talking about the Lakers as far as who will stay and who will go. Just wanted to go ahead and make sure you guys are caught up what's going on in the NBA world as need. Referees are on crack when it comes to SG. They give him a lot. They give him a lot, and that I just think it's really unfortunate. I've talked about this at length with my conversations on NBA observations with Caleb Ponce, who covers, and he admittedly, does favor the Oklahoma City Thunder, but he does cover them. But he and I go back and forth, and sometimes there's some egregious things which he himself cannot defend as far as what they do, as far as either dirty plays or egregious flopping or egregious acting. And again, let them play. Let them be physical. Let them be physical on both Wembanyama and SGA. Don't let them go double digits in the free throw line. Let them decide it on the court. Let them decide it not at the free throw line. That's what I'm asking for. Game 7, let them be physical. Let them leave it out on the court on Saturday night. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see as a basketball fan. Indeed. Serge Brunson is another flopper machine, much like AR, SGA, James Harden. True, but Serge, I don't think he does it to the extent that we've seen from SGA, although he does do it quite a bit. I will acquiesce to you on that. But with Brunson and the New York Knicks, they found ways to go ahead and win. They found that game one against Cleveland. I have not seen, and I said this on Lakers latest, I have not seen a worse coaching performance in many years at such a high level in the Eastern Conference Finals as we saw from Kenny Atkinson, and who had a 22-point lead and let that slip away. Why do you not take out James Harden? That is the absolute worst defensive performance I've ever seen from anyone. And James Harden was absolutely terrible. I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer. I don't care if he's a former MVP. I don't care if he got you one basket going down the stretch in that game. You have got to take him out, and you've got to make sure that you secure that victory. And they didn't, and they lost, and they never recovered from it. They never ever recovered from it, and they deserved what they got. Now they've got major changes looking possibly for them as well. And do you re-sign Harden? That atrocious a defense, as far as I'm concerned? I wouldn't. I don't care what you promised when he would trade in here. He was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. Again, he is not. Craig talked about how he was a better player performer than many people thought, and I will give Craig credit. Craig often watches this show, and he watches my Lakers latest stuff. I will give him credit. For a few games, he did look like he was going to be a playoff performer and maybe shake off those ghosts of Christmas past that were all around him, as far as ghosts of playoff past, I should say. But yeah, he just was absolutely abysmal. Him and Mitchell are an absolutely abysmal defensive backcourt. And I said this on Lakers latest. When you have this type of backcourt, they have to be so dynamic offensively, Harden and Mitchell. If they are not, they will get exploited and they will get, destroyed. And that's what happened. They finally caught up with a team able to exploit them on the defensive end. And there you go. That was all she wrote. And that really concerns me if we go ahead and sign and commit to a backcourt of Luka and AR. That really concerns me, because those two in a playoff setting have to be so nuclear on the offensive side to make up for both of their defensive deficiencies. You've got to have it be somewhat of a defensive player, and they're just not. And we will discuss that as far as who stays and who goes. But here today is a good man indeed. He is part of the Joe Soro experiment, a happy guy because Otani is now being Otani. But I'm sure he's not what the Major League Baseball is proposing as a possibility. But that we can discuss a little bit later. It is a good friend indeed. It is the man behind the Joe Soro experiment. Joe Soro is here. Joe, I thought the topic for today is who stays and who goes. So we'll go run down one by one, the main parts of the roster, and, for once and for all, decide, because we're not the rocket scientists who was just hired, Ramadas out of the New Orleans Pelicans, although having rocket science and coming from the New Orleans Pelicans seems like a little bit of an oxymoron, but okay, all right. He is a rocket science. He does have a outstanding aerospace background from USC, so I'll give them that. They do have Tony Bennett helping with the draft as far as it's concerned, but you still have Rob Pelinka there. Despite the layoffs to the organization that happened yesterday, again, the people that we want laid off, unfortunately, are still there. So they have to make decisions going forward for the summer. We'll start with Luke. Obviously, you and I are still 100% forward on building this team around Luka. Nick T aside, everybody aside that still doesn't feel that Luka can attain the mountain peak. Again, I said before, Luka has to go nuclear if he's got AR by his side in a playoff setting. AR has to go be such an offensive demon if that's the case. It is looking more and more like a Luka AR backcourt is a reality. But the Luka end of it is not the part that we really need to be sold on, you and I, Joe, because we think Luka can be a foundational piece going forward.
Yeah, I don't know what the. There was a time where Michael Jordan was told that a scoring champion couldn't win a championship. It took Jordan 7 seasons to win a championship.
Yes.
Took Shaq 8. Some aren't lucky, like Kobe and Magic. LeBron took almost 9 years. Is it?
Yes.
He won in 12, right? And when you say things like they can't do this when it's not done yet, you don't really have a lot of credibility when you talk like that, because you really don't know. And this is something that happens a lot in life. Oh, that's not going to happen. How do you know? How do you know? Oh, that's not going to happen. Now, if you're trying to stick with your guns, do a show, not kind of go wishy-washy and just kind of put your foot down on it, I get it. But are you really telling me that a guy that's a multiple scoring champion, Western Conference Finals MVP, gone to the finals with ragtag teams, first team All NBA for the 6th time, who's really never really had any stability, really? Dallas was not bad, but there was always in and outs going in there. They were getting rid of Jalen Brunson. They were bringing Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving in. You don't know if he's going to want to stand out. There's always something. Like, when is it going to end for him to where he can just play and not have to worry about, oh, LeBron? What's LeBron going to do? What's this going to happen? What's going to happen here? He needs to have some structure, a consistent structure, much like how you're seeing in San Antonio, much like how you've seen in New York, much like how you see with Oklahoma City. I don't really understand how a guy who's got a clutch gene can score at will in his prime. I don't see how this guy can't win. It doesn't make any sense to me when you say he's not going to be the guy. So,
Nick T, wait. Don't start the day off saying things that Joe is going to go off on yet. There's a difference, quite a difference, like a Grand Canyon size difference between the young guys on San Antonio and the young guys on the Lakers. Let's be clear on that, Nick T. And you know this. You know this. So don't tell me San Antonio plays their young guys as a shot at JJ, because the young guys on the Lakers, as we will get into, are not cutting it. And you know that. And you know that. Go ahead.
does he really know it, though?
We're going to regret DK.
No,
Again, a lot of it is here.
That.
A lot of it is here, Nick.
No,
okay?
It's not. It's not coming from
It's
that.
that trade.
It's when someone doesn't like something, and it doesn't matter if it's Luke. It doesn't matter.
One more thing. He says doesn't develop their players. You're about to give $200 million to the player that you did develop in Austin Reeves. You just contradicted yourself. Were the Lakers about ready to hand over $200 million to Austin Reeves? Where did he play? Where did he develop? He developed with the Lakers, Nick. Good grief, man. You just got good grief. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm just irritating.
Develop is an interesting word. The Lakers front office up until this year was gluing everything together. They weren't advancing what they have in terms of resources. They weren't creating anything really. They were kind of a ragtag team here. And There have been some Laker fans in my circles that said, "Well, what did you want Rob Pelinka to do with such limited ability to do things?" I go, "You guys haven't really been paying attention to where the disdain comes from with him. It has nothing to do with his skill. It has something to do with him, and his skill has obviously not been good enough. He gets 1 out of every 10 right. That's it, and we congratulate him. Recently was the Kennard trade. Good trade, very good trade, but the end result doesn't connect. Pardon the pun. It doesn't. That was nice, great. He did well in the regular season. He had a couple of good plays in the playoffs.
But after game 2 against
It's not
Houston,
enough.
not enough.
He's a complimentary player, and yes, he helped out to get them there, but it didn't result in anything. It just didn't. And Luka Doncic is a star. He is one of the best players that has ever played. And I'm not saying this because he's a Laker. It's true. The man is a savant. He plays basketball like I operate my business. It's effortless. And right now he's in a weird position too. He still performed with a lot of weird things going on around him the last year. He got uprooted from a place he loved. He got whatever personal stuff that's going on there. And he's still a good teammate, respected by LeBron, respected by Austin, respected by the coaches, the staff. Doesn't really insult anybody in interviews, takes everything in. As much of a fireball that he is, you would think that at some point he would do something. He doesn't. He actually gets along with everyone. So chemistry is good, skills good. And there's a lot of chaotic things going on around the Lakers. Maybe not catastrophic stuff, but it's not the team is too defragmented. It's not it's pieces of things. It's not flowing like it does in San Antonio, Oklahoma City.
So
I didn't say Sin Blades. I said my business.
he did. He always said his business. He didn't give.
So
but
you got to pay attention, search,
y.com.
or I'll destroy you.
Love you, Search. Love you, Search. But I'll say this: we'll break down as far as the team. Obviously, Luka is somebody we're going to keep, and much to Nick T's chagrin, and build going forward. Let's talk about Austin Reeves. I know, again, Joe, and I'm sure that LakersBall.com, your nemesis, as far as you going there and getting the heat that you always get there. With Austin Reeves, and as much as I do on Lakers Latest, I hear the same thing over and over. Well, we have to sign him. We have to sign him because of the benefit you'll get financially this year because of the beloved cap hold and the fact that if you go over it, it won't hurt you against the cap. I get that. I understand that. But when I hear everything from 5 years, $200 million to 5 years, $241 million to being tossed around money left and right in regards to Austin Reeves and what they would sign him for. And that's the problem I have, because the fact is that's only a 1-year thing, Joe. So if he doesn't get you to the promised land in that year, he saves you on the cap. You have 4 years left, 150, $200 million possibly still of Austin Reeves there sitting on your roster. We don't know and how good or effective he'll be at that price, because it's a great deal at $14 million. How does it look at $40 million, which is definitely a possibility for the Lakers?
Unless they decide to trade him for a star with using that money, it's a horrible investment.
And again, we understand that Luka wants his fellow golf buddy. We understand that. We get that, but we saw this scenario before, guys, where a player or players like a certain guy to come on our team, and we saw how that went, Joe.
I don't really care about golf or
Well, no, but the Russell
friends.
Westbrook is what I'm trying to relate
Yeah,
to.
there's no. This is about winning championships, it's not about friendships. It's Luca has next year, and I'm hoping he gets his personal stuff situated, which I believe that's why he's not playing in the international games this summer. Hopefully, he gets his life outside the game figured out so that he can go into next year really focused on not getting into shape like he did last year, but getting into next level title contention focus. And when you're out of shape and you get into shape, you've seen what's happened to guys like Kike Hernandez and Teoscar Hernandez this year. And that's not, I'm not faulting them for what's going on. Sometimes it's not their fault that they get out of shape because they have an injury. But look what happened. Like they go through all this rehab, they get themselves fixed, and then something else happens. And that's what happened to Luka. Hamstrings, groins typically are residual effects from compensation from either losing weight or an injury on the other leg or arm, depending on what it is. The core, right? The core with some of these guys in baseball, the obliques, right? Again, sometimes it's not their fault, but in Luka's case, he allowed himself to get out of shape. He had to get back into shape, and his entire body took the brunt of it. And something popped, and that's what happened here. So he needs to go into this season having a different regiment and making sure that when he goes in the next year, he does not get hurt at all. He's got to be able to condition himself to play 82 games plus 2.5 months of basketball. Austin Reeves is a different story. Austin Reeves seems to run out of gas at the end of the year, no matter what. And he is not a proficient shooter yet. That's a major deficiency. Because his athleticism isn't up to par with most of his contemporaries in the playoffs, especially the deeper you go, him being able to shoot plays a part in neutralizing that issue. If he can't shoot, now he is having to make extra effort to get to the basket, to create a shot, to create space. I'm sure people understand what that is. And that taxes the body even more.
And I'm also want to say this just real quickly. If OKC and San Antonio stay intact for the future, Joe, and let's say Lakers do end up securing those two as a backcourt going forward, every playoff we're going to run into this where either they face a San Antonio team with their young guards, Fox, Harper, and Castle going at primarily they would go at Reeves, or we're going to see an SJ or J Dub do it for OKC. And it's going to happen every single playoffs.
Well, owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder, word is that Clay Bennett is going to get into the luxury tax to keep winning. That's the word out there. So it's not going to be something where they're going to turn into the Indiana Pacers where they're never going to cross that threshold. If that is the case, Oklahoma City's not going anywhere. They're just not. And as far as San Antonio is concerned, they have Wembanyama. He's going to be a multiple MVP, barring injury. He is going to be the best player in the league for, if he stays healthy, for at least 5 to 10 years. So that doesn't mean they're going to win every year. That's not going to happen. Shaq won 4 times in 19 seasons, right?
Yeah.
and he was the most dominant big man in the game. Kobe Bryant won 5 times in 20 years. They're not going to win every year. It's just not realistic. So the Lakers have to really allocate their resources towards developing like Oklahoma City and San Antonio, at the same time maintaining who they are. The Lakers are notorious for getting stars. Nothing's changed. And it's very likely that if they want to get a jump start on this thing, they're going to have to get one more and then build around those 2 guys for the next 3 to 4 years. That's the reality of this thing getting flipped quick, which is, in my view, it's going to be another year. There could be something available next year at the very latest. And next year is a better route, because there's an opportunity possibly, if certain players make a decision, that they can test the market without having to have the team that they might go to relinquish too much depth and too much assets. See, there's going to be a change here, guys. There's going to be a change, because look what Jalen Brunson did in New York, and look what they've created. He, in terms of the extension of his contract, I believe I couldn't believe this number when I read it. I still don't believe it. But he took less money. I think they said it was around 113 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So that this can happen. What's happened in New York? And look at this, guys. Who's the coach in New York, Gerald?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. I guarantee you, if you go back last year when New York Knicks fans found out that Mike Brown was their new coach, I am going to take a very, very, very simple guess that out of 100 absolute fanatic Knicks fans, 99.9% of them thought the Knicks were going to hell.
Well, he wasn't even close to being their first choice. They tried 5 other existing coaches in the league and were all turned down by the teams for granting permission, before they even interviewed Mike Brown.
And I still have a soft spot for Mike Brown. I know he didn't succeed in LA, especially that preseason debacle and first few games in the year. But I'm on record, not maybe on this show, maybe I've spoken about it here, but I remember vividly how well he and Snyder and those guys coached in the 2012 playoff run, and how Kobe and Powell cost them that series. It wasn't Mike Brown. I thought his game plan against Oklahoma City was great. The problem was, and I'm not trying to shit on Kobe here. Kobe was coming back to earth. It happens. Powell was definitely coming back to earth. And they couldn't finish those games. They couldn't finish 2 of those games in that series, and they lost. If they finished those games, they would have beaten Oklahoma City. And who knows what would have happened. Maybe they meet LeBron in the finals that year. So Mike Brown, actually, I thought, coached pretty well during that run. And it all fell apart the next year. But I still don't like the fact that people were bothering his son, throwing stuff on their yard. Really? Really? Tommy Maddox ruining a Steeler game back in 04, 03, or whatever it was, with the last time he was starting there. Him getting harassed at home, like the degenerate scumbag pieces of garbage that actually think and do stuff like this. Like, seriously, like what kind of sewage is this in society? So Mike Brown taking the Knicks to the finals for the first time in 27 years. And the way they did it, they've won 11 in a row. They've lost one playoff game. I know it's the East, but it's still the NBA. And this is the fact that they're dominating like this says something. And Mike Brown is being validated a little bit. And maybe with some luck, maybe they make it all the way. Not likely. You don't know. Maybe somebody gets hurt. I don't know. I'm going to be cheering for Mike Brown, and I'm going to be cheering for the Knicks. Not because I don't want Oklahoma City or San Antonio not to win. It doesn't really care. Like you guys, we all know us. As soon as the Celtics were out, we relaxed. The Oklahoma City Thunder winning a championship, okay, cool, whatever. Yeah, I know everybody doesn't like their flopping, but I've heard this before. I'm tired of hearing the same stupid story from every team that wins. It's the same story. It's Oklahoma City are floppers and cheaters, and the refs are helping them. The Kansas City Chiefs are bums, and they get helped by the. Every story is the same. Oh, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. It's like, do you guys hear yourselves? Every team I just mentioned that's winning a lot has the same theme from every loser out there that complains. It's the same story in 3 different sports. Does that click somewhere in the intelligent part of the brain? As little as it is for some of you out there? Seriously. You hear yourselves? I'm cheering for Mike Brown from things that happened before. I've never not Mr. Potato Head, all that stuff. It's funny. But throwing stuff in his yard, bothering his kid, really? So now it's come full circle. I'm cheering for him, and I'm hoping he wins. And if Oklahoma City wins, okay. You're not going to look at what Sam Presti's done over there? That doesn't factor in the fact that he flipped the LA Clippers inside out 8 times. That didn't help where they are right now. It's all the refs. You're cheap. You're a loser is what you are if you're constantly saying this. I get once in a while it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't. What the hell were they thinking? These refs suck. Guys, the NBA refs have sucked my entire NBA viewing life. So what was it in 94 then? Or 98? Or 2002? Or 2008? Now it's 2026, and you're still bitching about the refs. Nothing's changed. So I'm tired of hearing it. Gerald, I know you pay attention to our chat. The boys are always yapping about that, right? That's a discussion I've been staying away from for a minute.
I still like the one Vari the other day. Well, you didn't tell me. I'm obligated to tell you. If you had hit the notification bell when you subscribe, you would be notified when we're on the air. But
Vari is a very funny man.
I love Vari though.
And Vari,
sports baby.
Yeah, Vari is that's my
He chewed me.
That's my family. So he gets a pass.
I didn't tell him personally that we were coming on last week. It's just like it's my responsibility, Joe, to go ahead and do that. So.
Let him do his thing again. I just because I like Brian, I like Craig, I like everybody. I'm just saying it's a discussion that's tired. I've been hearing it for a long time. This is not a 2026 problem. This is a literally every year problem. And it's nauseating and it's tiring. It really is. And I'm not saying that these refs don't suck, but to say it's every game, you're creating something that isn't there. It isn't. Because how many times have I seen both fan bases that are listening to the same play-by-play guy or color analyst say these guys are on the side of the opposite team. I'm like, you guys are listening to the same announcers. How can they both be? You can't both be right. So it's you that's doing it. You're creating this. And it's just whining after whining after whining. Everything's a whining. Everything is dissected. Hell, even the Ohtani thing. Ohtani throws a no-hitter through 6. And he hits a home run in the same game. By the way, this is back-to-back games where he didn't allow... Well, I'm sorry. He allowed a run in this game. But he allowed 1 run in the last 11 games... I'm sorry, last 11 innings pitched, and he hit 2 home runs and 1 in each game.
That's not enough, Joe. Shame
and you have the most just useless morons dissecting it. Someone had to explain something in such a perfect manner. Some idiot said, "What about Wayne Gretzky?" That was an odd throw-in. I love Wayne Gretzky. I think he's the greatest hockey player ever. But you know what the equivalent of what Shohei is doing in hockey terms? It's Wayne Gretzky scoring a goal in a game where he saves 30 shots or 20 shots as a goalie. That's the equivalent of what Shohei is doing. Y'all, does that make sense? How often have you seen, Gerald, how often have you seen a hockey player score a goal and then go and wear... Let's just make this up. I just want to put this, I want to put a button on this. How many lines in a hockey game? 4? Okay, let's say Gretzky's in line 1. And then when they get out, he goes and dresses as a goalie in between in between lines. That's the equivalent. That's what it is. This is even Babe Ruth didn't do this. He pitched and then he became a position player after. He did pitch and play in instances, but never a dedicated season of hitting and pitching. Y'all don't understand. You don't get it because you don't want to get it. You want an excuse. You want an excuse on why people are great and why they're winning. Guys, that is prime losers. Prime. Like you're the epitome of a loser. You have a loser mentality. You'll never amount to shit. And if you do amount to shit, financially, whatever, you're still a douchebag. You know how many rich guys I know are useless? Almost everyone I've ever met that had a lot of money is a fucking drip or just useless to me. They offer nothing. Don't be those guys. Stop with the bullshit. Enjoy the game a little bit. Enjoy life. So
we'll move on to take care of the main rotation here, if that's the case, and break it down as who shall stay and who shall go. Thanks so much again for being part of what we do. It's the snack pack from the Lakers Fast Break. Joe, then we got to get to it. We went from Luka to AR. Here it comes. LeBron James. Much has been said in the past week, especially with Cleveland getting, as I said before you came on the air, embarrassed with one of the worst coaching and defensive performances I've seen in that level of playoffs ever, from Kenny Atkinson and James Harden in game 1, blowing a 22-point lead. It killed them for the rest of the playoffs. They are in need of a lot of things. They are going to be the most expensive team in basketball if they stand pat, which they will not. Dan Gilbert promised that they would try to improve the team, but again, that's just rhetoric. We'll see how far that goes. But with that, seriously, LeBron James has been mentioned for a return in his final year or years with Cleveland. Return to LA has also been mentioned, other places as well. But what do you do with LeBron James? You have been very complimentary in recent weeks, as I think he deserves it. He does deserve to be complimented for the way he acted once the two leading scorers on the team went down. I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he handled it and how he played like it. But the theories and the facts, as far as what is available, is that he's going to be 42 years old next season if he decides to play at in December. I don't know if you really should commit to that. I think at some point in time you got to just cut the cord and move on, and I think that time is now.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. You have to make a decision on is the money going to make sense, and is he going to be better than what you can get? Those are the two things you got to factor in there. If you get him at the right price and he's better than what you can get, then you have to consider it, especially if he's going to bring in the attitude that he brought in the last 3 months. And he's not likely going to be a problem in his last year. I think 24 would be his last. I think this is going to be his last season. And I don't know where else he could go. Where else could he go, Gerald? He's going to go to Chicago? They have money. Does he really want to do that? I don't think so. Cleveland to finish off his career. That if from a novelty standpoint, I could see it happening. But does Cleveland want him? Cleveland was 4 games away from the finals. I don't really know if they want him back. But the focus has to be on winning a championship. If he can help them win a championship, yes. Do you believe they can win a championship next year? No. It's going to be hard to get the players to win a championship next year. You need depth. You need likely another star. And no one is a star on this team except Luka Doncic. Therefore, there is no safe anything on this team other than Luka. I'm more interested in seeing what DeAndre Ayton is going to do. Is he going to opt out? Because if he doesn't opt out, you're in trouble.
Well, let's go that to next is DeAndre Ayton. He's got a $9 million option. It is undecided. If he has a lot of confidence in himself and if he thinks he is dominating, he will opt out of it. And if that's the case, thank you. Goodbye. If he doesn't, then you've got to make every effort to move him. And you've got to let his representatives know before he signs on that or agrees to opt in, saying, you know what, we're going to make every effort to move you. He cannot be on this team next season. I'm not into the DeAndre Ayton experience.
Well, unfortunately, the
I'm not going to take that ticket and go again, Joe.
The numbnut that gave him a player option. This is one of the problems. Why would you give anyone a player option when they're a risk? If DeAndre Ayton opts out, he becomes a Laker favorite at that point for doing that, because we as a fan base know that they're not going to sign him again. He gave him a free get out of jail free card. Does he feel that he can get a deal for 2 years at 20? Is there someone out there, Gerald, that says he's still young? If we give him $10 million for 2 years, yeah, let's give it to him.
I think there is, and I think there will.
I hope so.
He's just going to last one more year, Joe, out there in NBA land before expansion hits, and he'll be a starting center on an expansion team once again.
I'm telling you right now, I'm really watching that one, getting that out of the way. Marcus Smart is a 50-50, even if he opts out.
Well, let's go Marcus Smart next. Marcus Smart, $5 million. He's going to probably opt out of it, but he was great. I'm still worried about his health going forward, but what would you commit to him if that's the case?
It would depend on the construction of the team. It really would.
Okay.
How many games did he play? 64 last year, or was it less?
I think it was more. I think
Was it more?
Yeah, I think let me look it up real quick. But it wasn't noticeable. I think he actually he did. I mean, it's a 12-8 season. You're getting 12-8 when it comes down to it. The 20-point games he has and the 5-point games he has, it rounds out to 12-8. He played 72, Joe. Just to let you know.
Well, that's. Do you look at that and say that's an anomaly?
Well, again, with him, it's just I don't want that ride. I seriously don't want that ride. I don't want to see the one game where he shows you that promise and the 5 games that he doesn't. It really is just I'd rather have some more consistency out of that position. And I don't want, hearing you scream about his hands one more time, comparing it to Kwame Brown may not be what I want to hear going forward.
The Lakers don't have a lot of options this year other than a first-round pick that's at 25, which is horrible, by the way. Getting killed in the second round to just picking the 25 spot. I was hoping at the beginning of the year they'd somehow be able to get somewhere between 15 and 20, but it is what it is. They're going to have to hit on 25, and then they're going to have to bring in a free agent that's really, really a major factor in helping this team win. Who? I don't know. I have no idea. And what pieces do you have now that you can keep that can allow that as well? It's going to be a tough job. And the rocket scientist that's going to be working with Rob, didn't he work for New Orleans?
Who?
The new assistant
yes,
GM?
That's what I'm saying. The rocket scientist. He is from USC. Fight on. I will just say, as far as it's concerned, has a great aerospace background, but his last gig was with the New Orleans Pelicans as far as analytics. He built a system that made the front office there supposedly more efficient. Still, the New Orleans front office is considered one of the more laughing stocks of the entire NBA, Joe, with the decisions that they've made in the past year, chronologically. So again, I would be a little bit curious about what he's going to be doing and how it's going to be implemented, Joe. But I want to give him all the credit in the world because of his extensive background before joining the Pelicans.
Not sure why they needed to reference him being a rocket scientist, other than maybe to poke fun at him.
It's a source to ESPN that they thought of him as a rocket scientist.
There are a lot of geniuses out there. Playing professional sports. Rocket scientist, Harvard grad. You know how smart Ryan Fitzpatrick was, right, Gerald?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was a good quarterback. But rocket scientist, Harvard grad, don't make you Aaron Rodgers. Don't make you Tom Brady. Don't make you Peyton Manning. Now, I'm not saying those guys are dumb, but let's use an older quarterback that was thought of as dumb, Terry Bradshaw. That was his reputation, that he wasn't very bright. But he didn't have to be a rocket scientist to win 4 Super Bowls, I'll tell you that. And for the ignorant out there that thought that the defense carried Terry Bradshaw, go back and look at those games again when they changed the rules in 1978. So the point of the story is my instincts are my guidance almost every time. And I'm not sure I know where they're going with this particular hire. And not so much, not saying that Mark Walter and the group don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the point of this hire was with Rob Pelinka there. The Rob Pelinka thing is, it just festers to me. It's like cleaning out. It's like you're doing all these experimental treatments for cancer, yet you're not really cutting the son of thing. You're not cutting it out. You're just throwing stuff to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're trying to avoid cutting something up and just getting rid of it. Instead, they're seeing if they can cure it without creating a scar. I totally pulled that out of my rear.
Well, there's supposedly one more assistant GM that's going to be hired at some point in time. So be prepared.
Reminds me of
well.
Timon in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You're the assistant to the assistant manager of the movie theater.
And again, I will give exactly. I remember that was the classic scene. But Rohan Ramadas, again, I'm going to give him as a fellow Trojan. I'm going to go ahead and give him some credit. But again, coming from the Pelicans, I don't want to. I want to see what exactly he'll do because I understand that he creates analytical systems and AI-based systems that are supposed to assist in helping the streamline the job for Rob Pelinka. But will that make him or allow him to make better decisions? We'll have to see going forward. But I did want to touch on one individual that's going to be interesting to see because of his. We talk about the possibilities about Austin Reeves and what it might look like with a Luka Austin backcourt in the playoffs, Joe. But with Rui Hashimura, we have seen him step up in the playoffs. We could talk about everything when it comes to his consistency or the fact that can he stay or stay out of the starting lineup? Is he best suited as a smaller power forward? Is defense issues and whatnot during the regular season? But in the playoffs, where it counts the most, Joe, he is shot better than anyone in the history of the game from the three-point area. I'm not sure he is going to be long for the Lakers. It is a desirable trait for any team thinks it might have a chance in the postseason with Rui Hashimura. So I have a feeling that there will be a lot of bidders bidding on unrestricted free agent Rui Hashimura.
I like Rui. I think he improved this year and showed it in the playoffs. I wouldn't be upset if they brought him back. But I would, I'd say I wouldn't want to go really that much above what he's been paid, which is $17 million a year. 3 years, 60. I wouldn't balk at that. It's still a lot of money. My instincts tell me that the Lakers are likely not going to sign both him and Austin, because then even if you give Austin $30 million per, you're giving $50 million a year to two guys that are just going to be the same guys. You really want to do that? You're basically giving that money that you were giving LeBron to these guys. So unless you're replacing LeBron with a star, which it's impossible right now without a trade, which would likely mean Austin going out. There's a lot of ifs and whens and whats and what you can do, what will be available. Do the Lakers feel that if they sign Austin and they sign Rui to an extension at a higher number because that'll give them more leverage for a trade down the road? Okay. But that trade better happen. Because if Austin Reeves is your second highest paid player and Rui's your third highest paid player, you aren't going to win shit. They don't have the assets to get anything right now in the summer unless somebody says, I want to be a Laker. And I don't know any guy right now that's a star that's on the trading block that has said that. You know who I'm talking about, Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Did I say that right?
Antetokounmpo, yes, indeed. Now, it's interesting because Joe, that the Lakers had not only the best ever at 3-point shooting in the postseason, but they have the best ever, or had the best ever in 3-point shooting in the regular season with Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard did step up when Austin and Luka got injured and did an admirable job trying to be a playmaker. They put him in the position he's not normally suited for and did a lot of good things while he could, Joe. And for the first 2 games against Houston, it looked really good. But once a team recognizes he's there and starts putting any focus on him, like Houston did for the rest of that series and OKC did, it lessens the effect. And we saw this when the Lakers played him off the floor in Memphis. He has played with several teams. And you're asking yourself, again, how does a guy that shoots nearly 50% from 3 during the regular season keep on getting sent to other teams? There's a reason why. And by the end of the Oklahoma series, Joe, especially in game 4, where SGA was repeatedly picking on either Luke Kennard or Austin Reeves, we saw exactly why.
Well, I think Luke Kennard was probably one of the few guys, or if not the guy, that got marginalized when Luka got hurt. Kennard's game matches what Luka's game is. Being able to penetrate, being able to spread the floor. Luka would find you. That was the guy. That losing Luka, I think, lessened Kennard's effectiveness. So maybe I'm looking into it in a different way, but I don't think it's a coincidence that you didn't see a lot of Kennard until after Luka got hurt. I don't think it's a coincidence. He wasn't as effective. So,
but he had some of his best games when Luka was out there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, when Luka was out there, because of his ability to attract attention.
No, but when he was out, he had some of the best games, like in games 1 and 2 of the Houston series.
I don't know. The Houston series is a weird series.
Okay.
I don't. Should the Lakers have won that series?
Well, if you were going and using Kenny Atkinson analytics will probably tell you that the Lakers lost that series in a sweep.
It was an odd series.
Kenny Atkinson said that the Cleveland Cavaliers were beating the New York Knicks too, as well.
And they may very well may have if they mentally didn't squander the game in game 1. How many times have we seen in a baseball series or a basketball series where here, I'll give you a couple examples. Orlando against Houston, 1995 finals. If Nick Anderson hits one of those damn free throws, they go up 1-0. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the championship because Houston had a knack of coming back that whole year. But they were the Orlando Magic were a freight train. And they got derailed with those missed free throws and they never recovered. They win game 1. I don't think they lose the series. I think they beat the Houston Rockets. The Dodgers, Jose Canseco hits a grand slam. The A's are up going into the 9th, and they have the best closer on the planet at that point. Kirk Gibson, with no legs and 2 arms, hits a game-winning home run. They never recover. And that A's team was a juggernaut. And you could even say that the NLCS series before, the Mets were, Doc Gooden was dealing until Mike Scioscia hit a home run. And when the Mets lost game 4 and it tied the series, that was it for them. Even though it went 7, they win that game when they should have. The series is likely over in 5. So those one little instances can dictate so much. And the Houston Lakers series was such an odd series, and I didn't really realize it until a few weeks ago, how odd it was. How the hell did they win that series? How the hell did Kennard in the first 2 games without Luka play so well when he wasn't playing well before then? How the hell did they win game 3? They had no business winning that series. Was LeBron dominant? Would you say LeBron was?
No, I wouldn't say dominant. He played better than anyone in that series consistently.
So LeBron wasn't dominant. He was good.
He was really good. He was good. Yeah.
Austin hadn't really played those first 2 games, right?
No.
Yeah. So they didn't have Austin. They didn't have Luka. They had LeBron playing good basketball, but not great. So how the hell did they win the series?
Exactly. So I'll just say this. I said it to Tough, and I said it in the chat, that I think if you put Luke out there, if you bring him back 15 to 20 minutes, you get him 7 to 8 threes a game. But the thing is, you got to make sure you have him out there, and you when he's out there, you got to utilize him, because if you don't, then the cracks start to show, and his defense is really an issue. I don't know how much you would pay for that, Joe, because he earned about $10 million on that salary. I wouldn't go any more than that. In fact, I'd go a little bit less on that. But the thing is, out there as an unrestricted free agent, will he make more than that? And should you pay him more than that?
It's going to be a hard process here. I don't know what their analytics are going to be, but I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but they're going to have to hit in the 2 areas that they're going to have an opportunity to get some new blood in here, add some depth.
Well, speaking of that depth, let's talk about the Lakers finish as far as the rotation is concerned. Jackson Hayes, you and I both thought that he had probably his best season to date with the Lakers, probably his best season ever. As an energetic big man off the bench, I think that he deserves a raise as far as concerned. I was talking about on Lakers latest, people talking about maybe, I don't know, $5-7 million. I could see that happening for him as someone who likes to play with Luka, who wants to stay playing with Luka, and as someone who can give you at times some really good things off the bench. Your thoughts on Jackson Hayes? He's still 26. He's been in the league 8 years, but we're finally starting to see someone that is finding his own niche in the league after so many years of disappointments with New Orleans. But now with the Lakers, he seems to be doing a lot better. And of anyone on that rotation after man number 5 would probably be someone I would be interested in keeping, but make sure that, how much you spend on him is what is reasonable as well.
So do the Lakers bring everyone back and add 2 players and think that they can make a difference? That's another option.
Well, if they bring everybody back, I think you've already seen where your ceiling can be, Joe, against.
But what if they hit in the draft and hit in free agency? Hit as in they get 2 guys that are 3-and-D type players. Now what?
Do you trust Rob to make those decisions on that? Because
No.
I don't.
No. We have to see if the rocket scientist is going to help with his analytics.
But Jackson Hayes, let's get to Jackson Hayes. You've been very high on Jackson Hayes all season. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on how much you would retain a Jackson Hayes if you were in that negotiating room.
I'm probably not going to be against bringing Jackson Hayes back for, I don't know, $5 million a year for 2 years. I'd be fine with that.
If you can get it for that, I think that's a very fair deal.
I enjoy his game and his price tag, and I have for a while now, because I was not happy with the signing initially. I had seen him enough in New Orleans to say, what the hell is this? But it does help playing with somebody like Luka and LeBron. And his best season, in my view, by a long shot, was this year, and he played pretty decent in the playoffs, which he had never done. And
I will say this: I agree with you. I think that's where you would want to go with Jackson Hayes as far as finding someone there as a backup to coming off the bench. I do want to ask you your thoughts on Jake LaRavia, someone, It gets thrown at me a lot, Joe, when I do Lakers latest on a daily basis, and also this channel. Well, he played every game. Well, he played every game. Well, he played every game. If your best attribute is he played every game, then you're not really telling me everything you want to know. I looked at his stats and I looked at what we saw out there. The good is that he shot from two better than he has ever shot in his career. The bad is that, he shot from three the worst he's ever shot in his career. Defensively, he tries hard, but athletically, it's just like Reeves. It's just like Luke Kennard. It's just like those guys who are just not that good a defender. No matter how active he is, he gets blown by constantly by the upper echelon of athletic guards or forwards that he guards against. And after the calendar year of 2026, Joe, his promise, and of course, the guy who was never on the Jake LaRavia train, our Zoom executive, John Costa, he was looking more and more like he was right all along. After 2026, the calendar turned to there. His season went off the deep end and went off the deep end hard. And by the time the series was over against OKC, Joe, you realize the guy that played every game of the regular season was out of the rotation.
Yeah, LaRavia was bad. LaRavia was bad. Dalton Connect was bad. Bronny James is bad. Kobe Buffkin is bad. I like Nick Smith. I thought he shot well. Vanderbilt is bad. These are the players that need to.
We'll get to Vando in a sec, but yeah. I wanted to hear Jake LaRavia real quick because he's committed. He was signed on a 6+6, Joe, with no option for him.
Yeah, $6 million is a little easier number to swallow, but he was not good. He was not good. He was scared. And I know that $6 million don't buy what it used to, but I look at the roster and I think to myself, well, Marcus Smart got paid less than Jake LaRavia, and look how he played.
Where would he be on an Oklahoma City roster, Jake LaRavia?
I think he'd be number 12.
I think he'd be 13 or 14 personally. I said 11 the other day, and I'm thinking that's too high.
My brain always looks at 12 as the last line, and 13, 14, 15 are usually two-way players.
I think Wiggins and Joe, the guys that are in 11, 12, I think they're better players than LaRavia.
Oh, no doubt. It's just that's how it is, right? Like, there's how many two-way players on a 15-man roster?
3, but that's right? After the 15 first, and then the 3.
So I'm 12 has always been the number in my head, and maybe I should say 15, but yeah, Oklahoma City, I'd say 15. Maybe not even there. Maybe he's a G leaguer.
And he's getting $6 million.
Well, that's the reason why. That's why I was saying he's probably likely not going to be playing in the minors because of the fact that he's making that much. But the price is irrelevant. He's not able to play. If Marcus Smart can play hard and make less money, you can do that too. You've got the height. He's got a good shooting form. I don't know what it is. It's something up above the neck that's messing him up, and that's not an uncommon thing. It happens to some of the best of them.
Let's go on with someone you and I are not high on, but someone is a little bit divisive because there are, like your good friend Empire Jeff, some people still on Vando Hill with Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt, I believe $12 million-ish, as far as off the top of my head, memory serves. As far as I'm concerned, we're still committed to him for, I believe, multiple years. Or is this his last season? I'll check right now. We need to get rid of him fast. He needs to be not on this roster fast.
No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. If I had a wish on who I would want off the roster, be Jared Vanderbilt, above even DeAndre Ayton. because
it's just not gonna.
a center can still have some value. Vanderbilt to me has zero value.
He is getting 12 next year and a player option, which he will take at 13
Yeah,
to 27.
Yeah,
That's Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka right there in action.
everything is.
Alex Caruso's hitting threes all series long. And Jared Vanderbilt is in Cancun.
That was probably more a Genie decision, though. They didn't want to pay the luxury tax on him, right?
Because remember, they chose THT over Caruso.
Because he was
How'd that
7
work
years
out?
younger.
Yeah. And long arms, Joe. Long arms.
Mm-hmm.
Those long arms. Yeah. How'd that work out?
Well, it didn't work out because as soon as THT got his money, he relaxed, which happens a lot.
And now he's playing in Europe or China.
But he got paid, right?
Yeah, he got paid.
And now he's going to learn another language, play basketball. It worked out well for him.
Yeah. Good money if you could make it. Absolutely. Yeah. But it hasn't helped the Lakers. Again, I understand, Joe, this all starts with Rob. Who should stay and who should go should start off with him. You and I have been adamant from day one with Rob. As far as the kids are concerned, Adu Thiero. I need to see that kid work on the offensive end. I know that a lot of you out there are really high on him because the fact he's looked good with those putback slams and his athleticism. I'm worried about his knee because he started his career with some severe knee issues. He seems to have overcome that, but he has got no offensive game at this point at the NBA level. It's atrocious, and it needs to be worked on immediately. And I need to see a lot from him in Summer League, Joe. He needs to be here in Vegas. He needs to take a lot of shots, and he needs to develop an offensive game, or otherwise we just have a younger version of Jared Vanderbilt on our hands.
Let's hope not.
I hope not. But again, it's a second rounder. So, that's, again, there's reasons why he was in the
I think Adu has talent. It's going to come down to him working on his game and being dedicated, and he'll have the opportunity to play if he betters himself. This is on him. He's got the athleticism. He's got to be able to start shooting well and learn NBA basketball. If he puts in the work, there's a lot of promise there. A lot of promise. But he's going to have to be able to be somewhat valuable on the perimeter in some cases. And if he's going to be an athletic freak that can get to the basket and finish and be one of those guys, yeah, there's a benefit there, but the NBA is a different world now. You need a threat that can shoot and do both, and obviously get in dirty with the defense. He can do the defense and he can get to the basket.
That's Search, where are these glimpses? I like to know these glimpses outside of these slam dunks that he has. You guys ooh and ah over the slam dunks. I remember Cam Reddish and you guys talking about how his slam dunks were so awesome when he was with New York. And oh man, we'd love to get him on the Lakers. Well, you got what you wished for and you saw what happened. He didn't develop at all and he was miserable the entire time he was here. I'm not calling him a Cam Reddish yet. He is a second round draft choice and it's found money if he goes ahead and develops into something, but you've got to give me more than just an athletic putback slam. He, at the G League level and or the pro level, has not improved his offensive enough to where it's something we can go ahead and count on going forward. And it's something he needs to count on. And if he wants to play consistent time in the NBA, you cannot have just these one-way players. We're seeing that right before our very eyes, Joe. If you cannot give them something on both sides of the ball, you will be played off the floor. It's just that simple. You have to give me something more than an athletic slam because there are so many athletes in the NBA like Adu Thiero. There are so many guys that can jump as high as Adu Thiero. There's so many guys that are as tall or as athletic as Adu Thiero. You have to give me something more.
You're seeing the Oklahoma City Thunder have many second-round picks that can shoot, play defense, understand their roles, and continue to help their team win. The Lakers are going to have to they're going to have to hit on these picks. And Adu has promise, but it's going to be up to him to get better next year. Shoot all summer. Get Austin Reeves in there to shoot as well. Be a leader. We know your athleticism is there. Make sure you're on a good diet. Make sure you do enough stretches so that you don't get hurt every 15 minutes like you normally do. That's the other thing with him that I haven't been really buying yet is, can he stay healthy? I'm not a big fan of athletic players that are hurt all the time.
Yeah.
You're almost you're like a really good employee who works well, who is competent, but you never show up to work. Well, then what's the point? You got all these brains, you got all this knowledge, but you're never available. It's useless. Might as well suck.
And Tough, you said it best. We can't have guys shooting air balls like Vando and Adu. And I don't want to put Adu in Vando's category yet, but Adu's last shot he took in competitive time in the playoffs against OKC was an air ball. That's my last memory of him right now. And that's something that has to change. He has to. I understand he was a poor shooter in college, but he has to develop that part of his game in order to get to the part of game he likes, which is driving and slashing to the basket. I understand that. I get that. But if nobody wants to guard you outside, there's no way you can slash and get to the basket. It's just that simple. He has to improve and diversify his offensive game more to be effective. Otherwise, he's just becomes a one-way player. And we see, like, for instance, Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet at one time of his career was a one-way player, but he improved dramatically on the defensive part of his game. Once that guaranteed money ran out, he became more of a defensive minded individual and played really solid defensively while shooting the lights out in this last series against Cleveland. So I'm not expecting him to start shooting 35, 38, 40% from three, Adu Thiero, just yet, but I just want him to be not ignored on that side of the ball when it matters the most. And that's what the hopes I have for him, but we'll see going forward. But continue on with the rest of the roster, Joe. A guy that you love oh so much and have spoken so much about, a guy that you got me banned on TikTok for. One Bronny James. Now, I said this on the show. He came to be going in the season a player who did not deserve to be in the NBA, in my opinion, to one that played substantially better for himself and for his career going forward. He is still not a rotation player in my eyes in this league as of yet. He is still not there. I don't know if he'll ever get there. I don't know if he will get there, but he did play like he could still be one of the best 250 players on the planet. Might be 220, 230, 240, or 250, but he still played at least at an acceptable level. But I still don't think that's worth keeping on this team, because if he's not going to be able to help you as a rotation player, which I don't think he will, I think the Lakers, if once they figure out this LeBron thing, need to move on from Bronny really quickly. Your thoughts on Bronny James, my friend?
Yeah, he's tied to LeBron. So if LeBron leaves, it's very likely he'll be gone. He doesn't make a lot of money, so releasing him is not going to be difficult, so that they can open up a roster spot for hopefully someone that can actually contribute. Bronny James has lived a dream the last couple of years. There's a possibility he might go 3 years, but nothing has changed, guys. He is not an NBA player. He's here purely for the moment things, and that's it. There's really nothing else to discuss. He is who he is, and he's not good at all.
It's
And
certainly not good enough
I
to
haven't
help
heard
them get
anybody at Lakers ball say anything, by the way, since
really.
the
Okay.
season ended. Yeah.
Tough. It's number 25. We have pick number 25, and I know you're a big Vassar, Henry Vassar fan. I wouldn't oppose to it, but I want to ask you this. You know, his free throw percentage is bad. It's like 60%, but his 3-point shooting is good at 42%. So I don't know which one will translate to the NBA. So that's an interesting thing. And again, he athletically he's okay, but he's not a big time defender or rim protector. But he does have that stretch capability as far as that's concerned. Tough, so he wouldn't be a bad choice. He wouldn't be a bad choice. I'm hoping personally, since Adai Mara is going to be long gone by that time, I'm hoping Chris Sinek Jr. at 7 feet, an athletic power forward slash center, that he would be available. A guy that's a top-notch rebounder and defender. He could become I believe, in my opinion, after seeing how Houston runs its defensive sets, he could become a rim protector. But I'm just, again, that would be my choice. But he's someone who's drifting around that 20 mark and have to drift down the floor. But Henry Vassar wouldn't be a bad choice. Again, I just don't know which one will transfer over, the bad free throw shooting or the good 3-point shooting, because it's rare that you have someone that's does that at the NBA level. So there we have it, Joe. There's the major the rotation pieces for Lakers. I mean, there's also, of course, Nick Smith Jr., Chris Mannion, Drew Timmy. I just think we need to see if they didn't work out and you didn't want them on your regular roster with these two-way guys. I think just move on from them and try to see if you can bring in other people, one that might stick. That's my opinion on the two-way deal. You don't keep them for longer than a season. Your thoughts on trying to fill out the rest of the roster, or anybody else? Is there anybody else on the Lakers that you saw that has some promise with you?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, they just don't have anything. The promise is Luka winning an MVP. That's the only thing that could. I think that's the only thing left for him to do. 6 first-team All-NBA, right, Gerald?
Yep.
2 scoring titles. He's done everything individually. It's time to build a team around him and see if in the next couple of years he can make a run, and maybe for 3 or 4 years. But he's going to have to get better too, health-wise. He cannot keep getting hurt or burning out at the end of the year. Now, I know he has family stuff going on, so that obviously is taking a mental toll on him. But my hope is that he solves that, and it sounds like he is solve that stuff this summer, and then go into next season without the stress of that brewing, the stress of moving out of nowhere overnight from a place he loved to some place in LA, which I can't blame him for being weirded out in LA. LA is LA.
Dalton Connect. Anything on Dalton? Or just, I think he needs a clean slate.
Dalton Connect.
I just think he needs a clean slate.
Dalton Connect had his soul ripped out of him and it never came back.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just, you just need to leave. I understand, Nick T, what you said earlier. Watch him. If he becomes anywhere near something, and as far as defensively, and he can hit close to 40%, I think he still has a chance to make it in this league. But I think he just needs to, like you said, Nick T, free Dalton. I think he needs to go ahead and just go somewhere else at this point for his livelihood and for his career. But Joe, it's been a great episode. I know that you're going to be talking here next few days about the Joe Soro experiment. I know you're hearing rumors of Major League Baseball passing a salary cap, but I'll leave that for you and a Joe Soro experiment.
I saw the MLB PA initial offer. I started laughing.
Yeah,
this is before the owners brought their high number. I was like, players really asking for minimum contracts double what they get now? Yeah, that's not going to happen. That was the second line I read, and I was like,
Yeah.
that ain't going to happen. Even the owners wouldn't do that. They're not going to double people's. What are you, crazy? There's 26 roster spots in any given game. You're telling me that they're going to double their pay? They're averaging a little over 700,000 on the average, and the ask is minimum is 1.5. So
Good luck.
do the math.
Yeah.
Put
Good luck.
750, right? Put 750 times 26 times 30, which by the way, they're expanding too. Baseball's going to be expanding as well. We don't know if they're going to be in Utah. We don't know if I'm here in Portland, I'm here in Nashville. I don't know where exactly at the moment, but there's going to be expansion, and it's coming. It's coming to baseball as well. So
have you got a Joe Soro experiment in the future?
Yes. I'm probably gonna do one next week after probably the Arizona series.
Mm-hmm.
I might have one earlier than that, but that's kind of my plan, because I think that's going to be an interesting series, considering that the Padres are going back to what they usually do, but a little bit earlier than normal, which is just collapse. They can't beat the Phillies. The Phillies. I think the Phillies own the Padres more than the Dodgers own the Padres, but that's a discussion for another time. The reality of what's going to happen next is so many losers want to strike or lockout because they're losers and they suck at life and they're pathetic and they're mad that their team can't compete with the best franchise in baseball by a mile, by the way. It's not close. The LA Dodgers are the standard. The LA Dodgers are the Yankees of the 21st century, and they're not going to stop winning championships. Not for a salary cap, without a salary cap. And by the way, salary cap's not happening. It will not happen. It will never happen. The players, the last time I heard, about a month and a half ago or so, they have $450 million allocated for a lockout. And you have to remember, guys, this isn't NBA basketball players or NFL players that are reliant on that check. These guys don't work that way. These guys play baseball where they're broke playing in the minors. They're used to not playing and not making any money. So be careful. I believe there's unless a huge surprise happens. Here's what I want to happen, actually. Forget about what might happen here's what I wish happens. My hope is that the Dodgers three-peat, and then the league ends up going deep into the season before they make a deal, and then there's a 60-game season. And then the Dodgers four-peat.
There you go.
The amount of crying and whining and booing and yapping, I want that in their soul, in their ass, in their ears, in their face. Imagine the crying. They four-peated only because it was 60 games. Good. They'll be rested. They'll have the depth. And they'll run everybody over. So that's what I'm hoping that happens, Joe, because I think it would come full circle. You would be talking about a team, let's say if that scenario were to happen, that between the year 2020 and 2020, what would be 27, you would have a team that has won 5 championships in 8 seasons. And the first one and the last one are 60-game seasons. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, for more,
that's what you get. That's what you get for 17 and 18. Remember, you guys keep forgetting. There is no retribution. It's just pure revenge. And I want you all to sit in it Not the guys in this chat room, of course. I'm talking about the people who end up watching this that are Dodger haters and always whining and crying about why they're winning. They'll find another excuse if they have a salary cap, by the way. Oh, it's LA. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. All that bullshit, right? It's always an excuse. Losers always find an excuse. That's why they're losers. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I want you to, you want a salary cap? I want the World Series MVP trophy to go where it belongs. You all know where that is. And I want the Commissioner's Trophy at Dodger Stadium in 2017 and 2018. And then you can have your salary cap. Is that a deal, Gerald? Would you say that's a good deal?
I'd say that's a very good deal.
Oh, for those of you who are confused on what the hell I'm talking about, both the Boston Red Sox and especially the pieces of shit in Houston got caught cheating. Now, the reason why we don't get on the Red Sox as much is the Red Sox have made up for a lot of this. First of all, they traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers for nothing. Actually, less than nothing. And they continue to send good players to the Dodgers. So there's a little, and at least Joey Cora apologized to the team. He wasn't a piece of shit like Correa, like Bregman, like that midget piece of shit Altuve, all those guys. So that's the deal. I think it's a fair deal, don't you think, G?
I think it is.
You bring the Commissioner's Trophy in 17 and 18 to Dodger Stadium. This is my compromise. You bring that, and you especially bring that World Series MVP that piece of shit in Toronto has, George Springer. You take that trophy that's in your little closet, wherever the fuck it is, and you go and deliver it to Clayton Kershaw in Texas. That's his. And his World Series ring. And you got to get Yasiel Puig his ring. And you got to give Andre Ethier his ring. A lot of guys on that team, man, that got fucked. 18-2. So return the rings. Return the MVP to where it belongs. And then you can have your salary cap. You don't do that deal, you can sit and spin on this your entire existence because I want the Dodgers to win every year, especially if it's a 60-game season. Sit on this. Fuck you and everything you stand for. Seriously. This is the result of your bullshit loser mentality. And the Dodgers are going to continue to win. Despite a salary cap, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to continue to win, and you're going to continue making excuses. So deal with it. The Dodgers are the standard, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And for more, when he does it, you go ahead and check out more at the Joe Soro Experiment. Indeed, we'll be back next week with another snack pack. We hopefully will have already started. Actually, we will on Wednesday, June the 3rd. The NBA Finals will have started by then. We'll get a glimpse of who plays as far as New York. Will it be OKC or San Antonio? We'll find out here in just a sec. But on Saturday, Game 7, we'll find out as far as who will win that series. But I don't know if the Lakerholics, when they're doing another episode of their Lakerholic Spotlight, so I apologize for that. But if they do, I'll go ahead and schedule it on here for you guys. But we'll try to have more NBA observations for you. And again, at least one live show a week going forward. And then, of course, we'll be back here, of course, as we lead into the draft and free agency. We'll have more shows during that time as well. But yes, Stefan, I will not mention Rob Pelinka and his horrible job that he's been doing on my next Lakers latest. Just for you, my friend. Just for you. But again, it is, of course, Joe Soro. Please follow him at the Joe Soro Experiment. It is me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this thing. Again, if you want your Lakers fix with one of us, I am on virtually every day on Lakers Latest, wherever you get your podcast. So go ahead and look for that. But again, I will try to put out more NBA observations. BTS has left town, so my obligations are lightening up a little bit. So I'll be having more NBA observations and hopefully more snack packs as well. But Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out?
No.
All right. And on that note, want to thank everybody for watching. Big shout out to Search and Destroy, as always, the mod king that he is. Appreciate all of our regulars stopping by, and any new folks stopping by as well. Please like and subscribe. I know that I still got to read Joe the comment someone made the other day on our audio outlet. I'll leave that for another day because yeah, that was a little bit spicy, and I'll leave it at that.
Wait, what happened?
Another audio listener said some thoughts about you.
Oh, you thought I was a piece of garbage?
I think that's a little nice. What he was saying compared to.
Well, if he's listening now, double.
Fair enough. The always...
You don't get to the top. You don't get to the top kissing ass unless you're really kissing ass.
What did the crew say about LeBron's latest demands? Well, he has not made any latest demands officially, Stefan, so I can't go by conjecture. I know that there's a lot of talk about what he's doing and a lot of conjecture about where he might go or where if he might stay, but there's no concrete, definitive things that LeBron. All I know is that he's on vacation. That's the only thing I know that he's doing right now. But he has not indicated how much he wants to get paid, what if he wants a one-on-one. Nothing has been put out there yet officially for LeBron. So we will wait and see what happens indeed. All right. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. We'll be back again for you next week or maybe even sooner right here on the show. Joe Sorrell, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, thank you for being a part of what we do each and every time out right here at the Lakers.
Anything better than that scumbag, that mayor in LA? Anything better than the scumbag in LA?
I was trying to finish the show before you got that in. All right, fair enough.
I don't live in LA. I'm just trying to show support.
Well, couldn't you have done that like on the closing outro when as far as during the snack?
No, I just read the question, so I thought I'd answer.
I know you did.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, no, it's good. Thanks for joining us as always right here on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Now you go ahead.
Yeah. Governor of California. That's another hilarious joke that we've ever seen.
It's another show altogether.